Sound on it. I don't have anybody online to confirm the sounds.
Want me to dial in? Does?
Yeah, if you want to dial in and see if you can hear it, it's because I want to make sure the sound gets on the recording. Otherwise, I kind of didn't make a lot of sense. Give it 1 second, folks.
I just got my thing.
Kind of anticipated that I'd have at least one person on there, and I could hey, let's turn your mic on so we can make sure we hear you and you hear us. This is a good group though for the amount of projects there. I'm gonna try to.
Mine's connecting, but it's not on yet.
Oh, there you go. You might get some echo. And if you're speaking, oh,
Sorry, Renando.
all right. You heard the room. You heard the room. That's good. All right. So, yeah, my name's Fred Wilson. I'm the town engineer. I have some individuals from Beta, who's our design team here. Want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. I am Jason Weeman. I am a project manager for the Beta Group.
I'm Jay Bertoli. I'm a vice president with the Beta Group. We're in Hartford, Connecticut.
And we are talking about two different projects, and Jason's got a PowerPoint that I'll share up onto the screen here momentarily. I just wanted to give you a little bit of an overview of why we're here and what this funding is about. So the town is using something called LOTCIP funding, LOTCIP, the Local Transportation Improvement Program or something like that. It comes from state bond money. So it's state money, and the way the funding is structured, the state pays for 100% of the construction cost, the inspector cost, full-time inspector, and there's some contingency that they put on it. The town's share is that we hire the designer, surveyors, whoever else is needed for that, and we pay 100% of that cost. So the grant amount, the amount that is actually going to be provided by the state is an estimate right now based on what we think it'll be. But when we get to the point where we actually have bids, that's when we lock it in and the state actually sends us a check for the whole amount. And draw it down and pay the contractor and pay the inspector out of that. That's the way the process works. We have to follow some state paperwork. We have to follow a state process. At this point, both projects have preliminary design complete. So we have plans. If you look online at all, pages are on there. You can go down through and you can probably find your property and see what's going to happen right nearby. The intent of this meeting is to get input from the public that you're in favor of it or hopefully not opposed to it. So I think the DOT has had some problems with maybe other communities where a project did not get any sort of public vetting and maybe it was questionable in value and the public didn't know about it. They were surprised and it shut it down late. So they stop us now preliminary. We gather the input. After this meeting, I have to leave a 14-day window open for anybody who wants to submit comments. I gather all that together. I give it to the DOT with the preliminary design. They give us an okay. We go to final design, permitting, bidding, construction, likely in 2027. On both jobs. 27.
Is that when the way to be?
It would be started probably in the spring and finished in that year because there's no reason why. And we'll probably get two contractors. They'll be working simultaneously in the two parts of town.
So it'll be finished in 27?
27. Yeah, before. So we work against a construction season, right? Ground can be frozen, snow can be underground. who knows, maybe we'll have snow on the ground, in March, right? But by April, ground is usually thawed, you can excavate, you can build. There aren't temperature problems with paving and asphalt, that sort of thing. So by April, you like to be building. April, May, June, July, August, September, it's getting a little cooler, October, the leaves start getting away, November, it can be really cold and it can be a problem with paving and temperature. And by Thanksgiving, the last thing you want to be doing is doing any sort of paving. You can't do line markings, you can't do paving, you can't do any of that. So we want to be finished in a pretty tight window in that construction season. We get a good start on it in the spring, we'll be finished by the fall. And the good news is, for the folks who are here about Brewer Street, is this is not a detour. You'll remember pretty clearly that we had a pretty long detour for the bridge for the first 3 phases that went up to Jefferson Lane. That is not the case. There will always be a way to drive through this construction site east and west on Brewer Street, and actually the same on Goodwin Street. So you won't have anything that is closing you and stopping you from going through on a long-term basis with a detour. We aren't going to do that unless we have a bridge again. We're going to really hold up. So I think that's about as far. One more thing with the funding. So on Brewer Street, the state had to issue something called a commitment to fund. So they actually have given us a commitment that once we finish final design and get bids, they will fund the project, which is great news. It's about $3.5 million of work that we'll have down there. And then on Goodwin Street, we are this close to getting that commitment to fund. We had to resubmit something to the state. That'll come back probably before this process even finishes. And then we'll submit our PI, we'll submit plans, and then we'll be in final design for both. These guys will be very busy. They actually have work to do for us as well, so we've got them quite busy. And we'll get everything set up so that we can be bidding it down through the winter time, and we have a contractor on board for spring 27, just like I said. So, and with that, I think I'm going to switch over to Jason's presentation. This way. Let him. You just tell me when you want me to advance here. I'm sharing. See where it says stop sharing?
Yeah.
I must have the wrong window. Hang on. Try it again. You just come over. I gotta share it as a meeting.
I just have to minimize your team's talk.
Okay. Try that. One, I'm just gonna get here no matter what. That's cool. All right. Sorry about that. There we go. Okay.
All right, perfect. All right, so how we're going to do this is that we're going to go through each project one at a time. We're going to start with the improvements on Brewer Street Phase 4. We'll take a break or a pause right after this just to answer questions and comments from everybody. Once we get through Brewer Street, then we're going to the following project, which is Goodwin Street. So this presentation is slightly different than the material that you might have seen online. The plans that were uploaded online, those were design plans. They're not meant for a meeting like this. So what we had done for this is that we have added aerial images as well as colorizations to the maps to make it a little bit easier to read, just to follow along as I go through the project. So again, we're going to start with Brewer Street Phase 4. Doug had already alluded to where the project is. This is Phase 4. This is the last phase of a 4-phase project. So again, this is from Jefferson Lane all the way to Forbes Street. It's roughly 4,300 linear feet. So from here, what I'm going to do is going to show a blow up of several sections of Brewer Street, talk about some of those components in a little bit further detail. And then we can save the questions to the end, and I can always go back to a particular property or a plan for some additional questions. So starting out on Jefferson Lane, So where we're showing the dark shaded line, that is pretty much where phase 3 had ended. It's approximately 150 feet east of Jefferson Lane. It's pretty much the cross section is exactly the same as the other 3 phases. This is, it's a roadway, curb to curb is approximately 30 feet. We have 11-foot travel lanes in each direction with 4-foot shoulders. The only difference on this is that the curbing, if you go out there today, it's all bituminous curbing. That curbing is going to be changed, so it's going to be actually granite curb from this point all the way down to 4th Street. And at the beginning of the project, the sidewalk on the south side will be picked up. It's a 5-foot wide concrete sidewalk. Like I said, it's from Jefferson Lane all the way down to 4th Street. You'll notice that at each of the properties, we will be reconstructing the driveway aprons, as well as continuing the sidewalk across those driveway aprons. There may be some properties where we might have to reconstruct a little bit of a concrete sidewalk. Maybe it's a pathway up to the front door. Maybe it's a little bit of the back of the aprons on each of the properties, but it's going to be very, very minor. So onto the next section. So this is basically continuation of what I had just shown you. This is the section, the cross section is pretty similar. By the way, the roadway, when it's being reconstructed, it's actually a full depth reconstruction. This is not a mill and overlay operation where we're just taking off the HMA. This is a full excavation, all new base material. I believe they're putting back 8 inches of asphalt. So it's a pretty beefy section here. In addition to that, there are some areas where we are doing some drainage improvements. So for instance, right across from 236 Brewer Street, we do have, on the bottom, we do have some new catch basins going in with some drainage pipe. 236 specifically, this is the only drainage easement that we have for the whole entire project. This is because we have an existing drainage pipe, which is from a manhole within our right of way that goes out toward the wetlands behind that property. That drainage pipe has to be maintained in some capacity. So the pipe is fairly old. It's corrugated metal pipe. It's probably collapsed or compromised. So we're actually going to be removing that pipe and putting back a reinforced concrete pipe in its place. But in order to do that, we have to go in there and obtain a drainage easement. A lot of the properties in East Hartford do not have proper easements for drainage pipes. So we're having that issue on other projects, but I'm not going to get into that at this time. But this is the only easement that we are proposing on this project. So it's approximately 300 feet of new drainage pipe with a new outfall at the end with some riprap.
By the way, with the right of way, once we initiate the final design, DOT gives us the thumbs up. The public information meeting is okay. Can you let somebody in there? All right. Sorry, we have somebody else joining. Yeah. The DOT actually handles the right-of-way acquisition for the project. They have a right-of-way section that will take the maps that were prepared and the deed descriptions that the surveyor is preparing, and they will reach out to the owner, negotiate, they'll get the appraisals that are needed to determine the value, and then negotiate on that, and then finalize the easement itself. So.
You can negotiate my cups.
Well, unfortunately, we don't have much to negotiate on this one for most people. It's just this one spot where somebody got a pipe on some private property way back and it went way off into the backside of the property, and there's not a good way. You can see actually how much area on each side here, well, over here, and then back the other way to Jefferson. It's a little low point, it's a little sag, and there's no other good way to really pipe it out and stay in the roadway. So this is the best way to get it out of here.
Yeah, we did look at that option. It just wasn't feasible.
Yeah.
So moving on, we're going to continue on to the next section. So again, this roadway cross section really doesn't change. The sidewalk continues on the south side. The only thing that's different on this section other than the prior sheet is that I'll go back one. You'll notice that we do have a grass strip between the sidewalk and the roadway. That's because we have ample right of way to do so. So as we move to the east, that right of way becomes a little bit tricky, and that right of way is actually encroaching closer to the road. So we do not have the capability to maintain that grass strip. We do have to remove it in this stretch in order to make sure we can accommodate the sidewalk and the roadway. And the reason for that is because I'll talk about some of the constraints on the north side of the roadway. You'll notice that right in the middle of the page, the shoulders end up terminating because, and this is the existing conditions, this is how it operates today. The road actually narrows from 30 feet down to 26 feet at this location. That is because on the north side, we've got a steep slope and some wetlands. Is it pewter? Yeah.
Correct.
So we are not, I would love to maintain the full width of the roadway all the way up to Forbes, but the impacts that that would have to the slope and the wetlands in Pewter Brook just wasn't feasible. So we decided to maintain the 26-foot width for the 1,000 feet that this stretch goes on for. So because we're dropping those shoulders, we are encouraging that bikes use the roadway. So we are adding some bike sharrows for that 1,000-foot stretch. And the guide rail is going to be maintained on the north side of the road. Again, the next sheet for the next several hundred feet, it's pretty much the same. Guide rail is consistent. The roadway width is consistent at 26 feet. The sidewalk is still maintained on the south side at 5 feet with no grass strip. We are going to be upgrading a lot of the drainage systems along that south curve. We did do a drainage analysis on this. It does require some additional catch basins just to make sure that during those high stormwater events that we're not flooding the roadway. So everybody knows that stormwater intensity is increasing every single year. So we're doing our best to make sure that that water is not standing on the road. So we are introducing some catch basins and some pipe on the south curve to take care of that. So as we approach Mitchell Drive, it's pretty much the same. What you'll notice here is that we do show some additional drainage improvements in the proximity of Mitchell Drive. What we're also doing is that we're also adding some ADA compliant sidewalk ramps with crosswalks at that intersection as well. So you'll be able to cross Mitchell Drive as well as Brewer Street at this location. Again, the sidewalks are being reconstructed pretty much in the same location they are today, but they are wider. They're fairly narrow today. So some of those are 3 or 4 feet wide. They're going to be widened to about 5 feet or so. So you're going to see that consistently as we continue to move to the east. So this is another section where we're able to reintroduce those grass strips between the sidewalk and the roadway. Still, we are still maintaining. We're back to that full roadway section, the 30 feet. We do have 11-foot travel lanes and 4-foot shoulders, basically from this stretch all the way up to 4th Street. So we're going to maintain that section for the rest of the project. So if you know, as you can tell, there's no drainage improvements, at least in this area. We still have minimal impacts to driveways and sidewalks through here. So as we approach Roxbury Road, these two intersections, Salem Road and Roxbury, are going to be treated in kind to the last intersection I just mentioned, where we'll have some new ADA ramps, crosswalks, stop bars, some signage at those two locations. There is a crosswalk going to be provided across Brewer Street at Salem Road. So that's an addition to the project. And in this case, we are introducing new catch basins and drainage along the north curve in this stretch, which is opposite of what I had just mentioned on the prior sheet, with minimal impacts to, again, driveways and sidewalks. And then we're at the tail end of the project. So there had been some work at Forbes Street in the last year or two. Most of that work was pavement related. So there is a saw cut line pretty much where that dark line ends for the full depth reconstruction. But you'll notice what we've done here is that we're continuing the sidewalk and the driveway reconstruction with the grass strips all the way up to the ADA ramp at the intersection of Forbes Street. So even though the pavement's not going to go all the way up to the intersection of Forbes, we are going to continue the sidewalk. So when the project is complete, it's all going to look great. It's all going to look consistent. It's all going to look the same. So that is pretty much a good summary of all the different components of the job, the start limits, the end limits, some of the impacts, the drainage, the one drainage easement that we're going to be taking. So from there, I really don't have anything else to add as far as just what the plans show. So I can open it up to the public for questions and comments about what I just said.
Start.
Sure.
I'm very excited about this for many reasons. I walk my, oh, sorry, yep, Brittany Capillary, 440 Brewer. Walk my dog twice a day up and down this road, so I'm very excited, especially where you are right now, about the crosswalks on Roxbury and Mitchell and crossing Brewer Street, especially because of the,
440 here?
yeah,
Okay.
yep. Just so I understand, all the sidewalks are gonna be replaced? Is that what is suggested? I just wanna make sure I'm,
Yeah,
Understand.
so yes.
that's also very exciting.
Yeah, all of the sidewalks can be, so you'll notice that by Jefferson, you'll notice the clear distinction between the new sidewalk. It'll look exactly like that. So it will pick up from that location, the beginning of the orange line, all the way to the end. Yeah, and that's only on the south, and then again, we're gonna be reconstructing sidewalk on both sides, starting at Mitchell. Yes.
One question I had, Doug knows what I'm gonna ask, is if you go to the one more slide forward, closer to Brewer, yeah, here, to 4th Street. No, this one is right. So you're saying you're adding a new catch basin that doesn't already exist on that just on the north side. The catch basins that exist on the far left, are those going to be, are new ones going to be put in, or the old ones are going to remain?
No, so those are gonna be replaced in kind.
Okay,
Yeah.
and,
If you're gonna take the time to do a full depth reconstruction and dig up the whole entire
yeah,
road.
that's what I figured.
Yeah, and a lot of the pipe that's out there is corrugated metal pipe. It doesn't hold up well for a long
We were
time.
very aware.
Yes, all of the pipe is being swapped out for reinforced concrete.
So, Doug, do you think that that means like the flash flooding we've had in those heavy rain events the last few years might not be as bad as we've experienced? If it was exactly the same weather event. I know, I already know it is because it's the same. We talked about it all the time.
I'll say the same thing I'm saying to everybody these days, which is that for Mother Nature is now decided to turn on the tap very hard, very fast. And the storm systems of the sizes that we have, designs that we do, that we currently do, and we're going to continue to do, are inadequate for those flash flooding events.
Yeah.
So what we're starting to look at, and the approach that I think everybody's going to have to take, is you pretend all the storm drainage system, all the pipes underground, they're all full and they just don't even exist. Now, where's the water going to go? It's going to follow grade. It's going to go down to the low point. And if somebody's house or driveway is right in front of a low point, there's no way out other than going through somebody's house. The water's going to go through somebody's house because it only responds to gravity. So we're trying to figure out exactly where those areas are and form on the surface an overflow for those events, because you can't design pipes big enough to handle this stuff.
Yeah.
And if you want to read way too much technical stuff, you go onto the town webpage. In 2023, we had 4 storms. They were in the range of 150 to 200 year storms. And the design for a normal storm drainage system is a 10-year storm. It clearly was overwrought. Even the largest pipes and things that we do, not culverts under roads and bridges, but large swales and large outfalls, was 25 years. What you need to understand about that is that covers either 90 or 96% of all rainfall that occurs. So these storms that we're seeing, that people are getting swamped out of, that people are having license plate ripped off of cars because they don't know to not drive through water, are in the top 4%, and maybe for some of those storms, the top 1 or 0.1% of storms that you would ever get. And we're getting hammered with them repeated times in a year.
Yeah.
If we were to try to design piping systems to handle that, we just can't afford it.
Yeah.
Nobody can afford it. There's no way to do it. So we have to go find out those low points. If we have a low point that, we can fix, what usually happens, and we're not trying to fix them here, by the way, we're just trying to get the road reconstructed and drainage on the road to handle what we'll call normal storms. We usually need land rights from the people, but usually they think they're going to be willing to say, yeah, please come on my property, help remove this water, drive it around the house, drive it around the garage, away from my shed, off of my garden, whatever it is, and get it past me, because there's no controlling what Mother Nature's doing to us right now. She's super mean.
We're not gonna control the brook in the back of my house.
Yeah, there's a lot of, I am 100% aware that Roxbury Circle area has much water going through it. If it hadn't been built already, it wouldn't be built today. Because there's a combination of things. One is it has no sort of real good stormwater collection, detention, retainage, or anything like that. And the other is it was wetlands and flood zone. And if you're paying flood insurance and you're in that neighborhood, you know that it shouldn't have happened. It happened probably as late as it possibly could, and maybe even too late when the FEMA flood insurance program was created. So we're kind of stuck with it now. We have three ways that water, know that there are three ways that water gets through that neighborhood. Either around a large pipe that's on Pratt and Whitney's property, it's through some drainage that drops down through the middle, or it's through this swale that comes off once the brook part just to the east of here starts going into pipe. Then it comes out into a swale right into your backyards and has to get by all these houses. But the town doesn't have easements there. It's individual control. You got to try to keep it clear, make sure the water keeps flowing and not get anything blocked up. I don't even think there's any pipe structures in that swale. It's just overlaid through there. Once it gets to that big driveway that goes up in the back of Pratt and Whitney, there's that big arch CMP pipe that's there. At that point, all that water, it just takes off and it's gone. It's not really impacting anything. But the folks that are in that low-lying area right there, it's super wet, super flooded, has water coming at it in three directions.
Yeah.
So we're gonna try over the course of the next few years to try to make sure that water gets around and through. Primarily by trying to cut it off with that Pratt and Whitney culvert. I'm not sure how well it's operating. I don't know if anybody sneaked up there. But I have a suspicion that it's pretty flat, it's pretty big, and it might need to be cleaned. If we clean that out, it might suck a lot of the water from the north branch of Pewter Pot Brook away from that neighborhood. So another project, another time. We're gonna focus on the road here. I will say, and I did exercise Jason quite a bit on this, to try to get, there's a house that has, maybe moving this way.
The culvert in the driveway,
Yeah, there's a driveway and they have a culvert.
it's down to it's one more we're already. It's the second one from the right.
Yep. And so that's where the culverting starts. And the thought was to try to pick up, go onto private property with a pipe there, pull the whole brook out to the street and take it down all the way past all these houses and bring it out onto Pratt and Whitney's property by the big arch culvert. We don't have the right grade to do it. And there's so many pipes in the way. That is a massive project. Every sewer line, water line, gas line that you have that connects to your houses is in the way.
Yeah.
And it's just a massive project to do it. And the size of the pipe was big too. It just wasn't going to be feasible for this job. I made him to look at that and we couldn't find a way to do it. So we're going to try to approach the neighborhood separately from the roadway itself.
I'll just reiterate, I fully support this and I'm very grateful for it happening.
Excellent.
So we look forward to it.
Did you hear that?
I don't look forward to the road being constructed, but I look forward to that product.
No detours, and we're gonna, and listen, I'm pretty hard on the inspectors in terms of maintaining safe traffic flow. Think about it from two perspectives. You're trying to get through, you want the road reconstructed, the contractors want to be in the road. They would love to shut your road down. They would absolutely love it, because who wants cars driving through the place that they work? And it's not very safe, right? So we can compromise by giving them half the road and have one-way alternating traffic on the other side, and they'll have to build it, that will get built into their bid. So,
Can I say something?
absolutely.
Right in front of my house,
Yeah.
I was getting natural gas.
What's your name, sir?
Come around,
Okay, and your address?
437 Road.
Okay.
Out the street, there's a large tank and the ground, steel tank, natural gas
Oh.
that feeds United Technology. I mean, if that thing ever explodes, I
You've never told me that.
never told you that. Guy stands up in the pit, that's it over his head. You know, and I was watching him put in my line. I was afraid he was gonna blow up, you know. But so if they're gonna run a pipe down there, I don't know.
We're not, we're basically running drainage where there's already drainage lines. And that helps because of all the things that I mentioned that we might impact. If there's already a drain line there, they put a new drain line in the same location. Now you kind of have a clean corridor in the ground and you don't have those conflicts. So we shouldn't be hitting something. Yeah, absolutely. So, anybody else for Brewer Street? Any questions, comments, support is welcome very much.
118 Jefferson Lane. Even in the sidewalks on Brewer, reconstructed new ones all the way down.
All I do.
And I know you want to talk about the other projects at this point.
I mean,
Is there any coordination with that project on Handle Road and Jefferson and Brewer to not do the side, if they're gonna open this up, is there gonna be a driveway or a street potentially in the next couple of years that don't need a sidewalk in that spot if they're gonna open that up to traffic with houses in the back?
so the section where the developer's looking at a subdivision for residential housing is this piece right here. That's to the east of, that's 6 Jefferson and before 229. It's the grassy shrubby piece. It says 215 Brewer Street, right? That's the section. There, so you have Jefferson that comes out, you have one house, and then you have the developer's house. Their original ask was to push the road through right there and have two houses away, another road that came out. And one of my roles is legal traffic authority. And I'm like, yeah, no, I don't want another road coming out just two houses away. It's too close. It's so close that when you come out of this one, somebody could be coming out of this one and you'd almost be staring at each other. It's just too close. It's almost like they need to join into one intersection. So they're not going to do any road connection from that developer's parcel onto Brewer Street. They're going to do the sidewalk connection, a public sidewalk connection. So if you're down in the, I think it's raining. So, if you're down in the subdivision, you're down at below the subdivision, you come up through their road, it's a public road. And you walk up their sidewalk and you come right out onto Brewer Street, you're onto these sidewalks, and you can go either direction. It makes a sidewalk system without having to go over to Jefferson and come up.
Where's the road gonna go?
The road come out between, there's two houses on Jefferson, there's a stub road that the town owns, the stub. They're gonna come out there and make that connection in that.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Okay.
My name is Betty Simon, I'm his wife.
Yeah.
But if you have a street, that connects our street, Jefferson,
Mhm.
and then you have another street that can go straight down Handle Road to Brewer Street, I don't understand why you're not doing that. Instead of we're gonna have a ton of traffic on Jefferson now.
Well,
because of-
it's kind of off topic for this. Obviously, when you get to come to the public hearing at the Planning and Zoning Commission. But remember, and I don't want to overdo it, but the public hearing that's being held now is about wetlands. It's about wetlands only right now. They will only file the wetlands permit. So the commentary that we would like to have come in, need to have come in is how will the proposed development impact wetlands and water? Just kind of so anybody who's here is thinking about what they might be saying. If you want to talk about traffic, you want to talk about noise, you want to talk about lights, you want to talk about storm runoff, anything else, those are zoning issues. And once they get a wetlands permit, then they have to get a subdivision permit to actually build it. And that's when all the other impacts, lights, noise, sound, traffic, stormwater, that all takes effect there. The sole purpose of the public hearing it's by the Planning and Zoning Commission, but it's for wetlands purposes. Is will the proposed development have such a severe impact on the wetlands or water courses that it should not be allowed? And that's what we're trying to seek commentary on the first public hearing. There will be a public hearing for the subdivision. It'll be 2-3 months from now. Just to let you know.
Anytime you build on wetlands, it's an impact. That's what it's there for, right?
What was that?
Anytime you build up on wetlands, it's an impact. Because you build like.
It is an
and you're
impact.
limiting certain-
It is an impact. And we could talk about maybe this,
I don't live there, but I'm just saying. You know?
but I mean,
There's only wetlands which now wants to do something, then they think like that is that, they don't want to make wet.
no. So, but we can talk separately about that if you like. So, but I'd like to get off of that topic.
I can
And
write some of that down.
see,
It's another project.
yeah,
Question.
okay.
I let it rest.
I just got a real simple question. My name is William Schultz,
Yeah.
236 Brewer. It says that you're gonna put, bus landings for, people at the bus stops.
Yeah.
So there are already bus stops on Brewer Street, so we're not adding any bus stops.
So I'm not talking about that. I thought you're gonna put like a pad so that so people
Yes.
can be standing on something.
So those are called lighting areas. So when we're doing the sidewalk reconstruction with all of the new ADA ramps at each of the intersections, one of the things that we noticed is that typically at a bus stop, you need a way for people in wheelchairs or other, disabilities to be able to board the buses. Right now, it's very difficult for them to do that because really you just have a grass strip that separates the
And
sidewalk.
that's why I'm asking, because I own
Yeah.
the north side. And
Yeah, so that was one thing that it did neglect and
Understand.
on their, down on the plan. So we
I don't want that, and even if a wheelchair came or something like that, they couldn't get up on the curb.
Are you saying to be clear, you have a stop right near you?
Yes.
And it's on the north
It's
side?
right next to that right of way that you need.
And so,
Okay.
so part of me is wondering, like, you see it all the time. Is it a lot of use on the westbound that people would be trying to stand on the side of the road?
Yeah.
So then that might be an area where we want to add a crosswalk. We can do a mid-block crosswalk and then put a pad there
Yeah.
for the bus pickup and people can stand on that. We did it, if you noticed, sort of farther down, almost to the package store, right before you get to Main Street. There's one of those, it's kind of tucked in up against the fence, but I know there's a pickup there and people are going across the street to it. And I think there might be a couple more up in that section we already built. So that's a great call out. We'll have to add one of those in there. Certainly not a big impact on the scope of the project, but it's a good add. So appreciate it.
That was it.
Oh, awesome.
You had no comments on the impacts on your property? You said you were at 236?
Yeah.
I live at 236. I own.
Yeah. No issues with the drainage there? I mean, we still have the right of way process that I described to go through.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, excellent. Excellent. Some?
Yeah, I just got one quick question, Doug. Selima Davis, 11 Springside Avenue, former Commissioner of Inland Wetlands. I don't live on, sorry, or street,
Address again, I'm sorry.
11 Springside Avenue.
I know who she is.
I'm good.
Yeah.
But one question I wanted to ask.
Yeah.
By any chance, any of the homes that's here already have their NDC meters on the lawn, or they're not going to do that? with this, project? They're just gonna do the street?
So
And the reason I asked is because that's what happened to us. We had our street done, and then they relocated the meters a couple of years after, and then they did the meters, and they had to do the street over again. So me, it
There
was
are
like,
many meters on the what's and we
okay,
sent my partner.
so you guys are
I don't know where
relocating
mine is, but we've seen
meters
that.
on the lawns already?
I know some of them.
yeah, I think they've been, that's their new, MDC's new push now.
Okay,
To get them to be at that termination point
okay.
and not be either in the house or in the basement or anything like that.
And they would do it before the actual project starts.
Where I'm gonna make Jason coordinate with the
Yeah.
MDC, which is part of
So we
final
have, so the
design.
coordination after the public information meeting, before we go into the next phase, we do have to meet with all the utility companies, have meetings with them, just to
Yeah.
make sure.
Okay, so it's not like a waste, because what they did on our block, they did the roads, and then maybe 2 years later, they came back and was like, oh, we got to change it 3 years later, the pipes, and now we have to put it on the farm, and it's like, we just got a new road, that's like a waste of money. Because the taxpayer don't-
One of the neighborhoods.
Yes.
And I agree, it's a waste of money. I
Yeah.
hate seeing that happen.
Yeah.
Now, do East Hartford taxpayers directly pay for the repaving that second time? No. But do all of the ratepayers to MDC pay for it?
Yes.
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 So
Which is still-
but you're actually spreading it to other towns even, right? And the one that always irked me was Oak Street,
Okay,
right? Oak Street, I don't know if you remember, Oak Street was paved in 2011 or thereabouts. And then only a year or two later, the MDC decided we need a lot more water going to Glastonbury. So they ran a big 8-inch line all the way down, they tore up the road, left, right, back, and they went all the way down to Glastonbury with 0 services in East Hartford. And it was just 2 years after that they'd been coordinated with on the other project. And then, but they were forced to repave it, but unfortunately, it's everybody's doll. You know, I don't like seeing it done twice, but it was actually fixed, so.
and that's just my question, even for Goodwin, so, they're not going through that, if they can do it first, at the same time, and then boom, put the street down, and, it's a win-win situation.
Honestly, the amount of time it'll take us to get this through the final design and into construction, if MPC or CNG wanted to renew the name, they could put it on a priority list for next year, 26.
Okay.
And actually, it may save everybody some money because the patches could be temporary. Because then you get a complete reconstruction coming through after that is already paid for, in this case, by every taxpayer in the state of Connecticut through the credit card that is the bond. So, and we try to play it the smart way, and it doesn't always work. Sometimes the utility companies change their minds about their priorities, where they want to do main replacements. Or sometimes they start breaking so much that it's just a mandate. They have to get in there to do it. And, they kind of hoped that it would just work.
Right.
It didn't turn out to be that way. All right, anything else on Brewer? For Brewer, or just, we're gonna give maybe Jason a stab at going through what the scope of work is for Goodwin Street. You guys all good with that? Let's switch it over.
Do you want to give any background to this before I start?
I'll just say that I know that School Street was reconstructed in 2010. This section of Goodwin Street has needed reconstruction for a very long time. It was done in 80.
Yeah.
The cross section is just absolutely hammered.
In front of my house, anyway.
Yep, I mean, you can. To be honest, what I did when I submitted the application is I put a level on the road and you can see the dips in the road like this, right?
Right from my house.
Yeah, so. It's really bad. So the design of the street will be with very heavy base and a very thick pavement that will be able to take the industrial traffic that comes from Leggett Street and from the distributor and from Sherman Williams. And then, Sherman Williams, right, with the,
Duraplex.
Duraplex. Yeah.
That's what it is, just right after the Duraplex, the main street.
Yeah, so there, the section, the brand new section is absolutely mandated here, like with trying to mill and pave that road to make it better is not gonna do a thing.
No.
Because we've
That's
got,
only got about 8 inches on it. And with the tractor trolls and stuff, you gotta have a minimum of 12 or better.
I think Jason probably knows the exact number, he'll give it to you in a minute, so. And the only other thing I'll say is I did get a phone call asking about what the coordination was with the railroad, and really, we're leaving the railroad crossing alone. But the other news I have is that the railroad, Connecticut Southern Railroad, is going to be repairing the crossing at School Street, the north crossing at School Street, Goodwin and Park. They're trying to get some money and do that fairly soon, so that the rubberized surface around the tracks, and Burnham Street, forgot Burnham Street. How the rubberized surface is like torn up, and then our plows, the DPW plows are hitting it and busting it and everything. That track surface is the responsibility of the railroad. And we're holding them accountable. The mayor specifically is really holding them accountable to get those repaired. We've been talking to the DOT to pressure them to do that. What this job will do is build right up to where the rubber track is. And we don't have to touch the railroad controls. We don't mess with the rail line. We just make sure that we're staying away from the rail line when the bars close. And then the last thing I'll just say is that on the western end of that, the triangle shaped island under this plan will stay exactly the same.
You mean right at Ellington Road?
At Ellington
We're
Road.
gonna rebuild it.
But
It's gonna stay, but it's gonna get rebuilt.
it's so by which I mean, there'll still be a triangle. It'll be pretty much the same way. When you go to the west, you can get to the light, you can take a right or left, go north or south on Route 5. Anybody coming south on Route 5 can't take a left to come in.
It's the same way.
Or they're not supposed
Yeah,
to.
same way. They're not supposed to.
Yes.
They do.
I know, and I also know that there's a big opening in the center guardrail on Route 5 that's just to the south of that and serves like a little U-turn.
That's what I do on my way there.
And absolutely, and it's completely,
They turn around.
and it's legal, so you're
Yeah.
good, okay, but that is essentially a U-turn, and I've seen tractor trailers make that turn.
No.
I have seen tractor trailers make that turn.
I can make it with that.
Yeah, they tend to take up sort of 2 lanes a little
Yeah.
bit, but they can hit it around and then they can come into Goodwin Street. The problem with Goodwin Street, it having the lack of that left turn there on southbound is that otherwise tractor trailers and other commercial traffic will have to go down School Street
Yeah.
and take a right at that 4-way stop at School and Goodwin. And it's not a great corner for making that right turn. We really don't want tractor trailers coming down School Street. It's too tight, the corner's too tight. What I would really want to do, and you're gonna hate me saying this,
Going over to the.
is I want to round about. I want to round about, and I don't care if you don't like it.
Can't wait.
But I will say, I do not have a project for that.
Okay.
I do not have a project for that. Okay? But I want you to think about one thing. The Route 5 is just way too fast. It's 55 miles an hour in South Windsor, 50 miles an hour, 45 miles an hour coming into town. People are doing 60, 70 miles an hour. It's 2 lanes, there's aggressive passing, and they come down to the stoplight at Goodwin Street, and they can see it from a mile away. And there's acceleration to try to make sure you get through it. And there's people red light running in a way I have never seen in my life, and I cannot even believe people run red lights the way they do. And as a result, someone pulled out of that little gas station, tried to take a left, saw the car in the right lane, turned left, and was hit T-bone style by a car that was doing an extreme amount of speed, and they died. So if you want to oppose a roundabout there, I'm saying I want everybody to slow down before they get into the center of town, and you're going right into the center. And I want them to take the speed down, and I want them to circulate around right there. There's plenty of space, and there's all sorts of reasons why to do it. If we want no more death, no more serious injury. I have a death. I don't want that anymore. And if I get people starting at 25 miles an hour after they've gone around the roundabout, now it's a 35-mile-an-hour section. Maybe they'll go a little bit slower down towards Main Street. Maybe.
Well, I was coming off Goodwin one day, and I was the second car back. And the other car went ahead, but in my perfect vision, I seen a car coming. He went between me and the other car that just went.
Just some people are just stupid lucky. It's crazy.
He must have been doing 80, 90.
Yep, I don't even understand it. So,
This part here of
Yeah.
Ellington Road at the end of Goodwin Street,
Yeah,
this area here, the water accumulates
oh, yes, there is.
severely.
Yes,
And during the winter, that's going to be all ice.
not
Right
anymore.
now, the grill goes up
Whoop.
a little beyond it.
Yeah,
Where's the?
he just moved to the next slide, so off to your left. Right here. You're talking about right here,
Okay.
right here on this curve.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
Accumulates, all right, now the
Yep.
grill is over here. And it does not, the water does not go into that grill.
So we're gonna
It's right here.
rough these guys, because they're gonna do a grading plan for this area down here. It's gonna show exactly the contract,
made right there.
how to take the water out of here so that it doesn't sit there
And
anymore.
then also when you come off Ellington Road onto Goodwin,
Yeah.
this area also has a lot of water.
Yeah.
And one time when I was taking my turn slow, I went boom, right across the street.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's very dangerous there. We also don't have any yellow lines on Goodwin Street. And all the
Yeah,
cars,
it's not a line, it's just,
I'm talking about.
Severely faded, maybe.
This
Yeah.
part here,
that's why I'm right there.
Over here.
And it's.
when you come up Ellington Road, Goodwin Street,
yeah.
the cars are driving on this side.
Yeah.
And right at the very end,
Oh, my God.
cars are coming from Ellington Road this way.
Yeah, they're trying about 50. They're trying
The
to-
cars are coming from Ellington Road.
I
This
almost got
way.
hit one day.
The car still be on this side. And at the very last second, they almost crashed because they had such vehicles.
And they fly down.
We don't have any yellow lines.
My street.
And it's extremely
That's it.
bad.
Dragway.
Yeah,
They start from maybe past the railroad tracks,
and they fly.
going this way,
Yeah.
and they're on the opposite side of the street,
So
and keep on going until the very end. And then they start going over.
two thoughts on that.
What?
Two thoughts. One is, I think I know what they're doing.
It's the whoopsie doos, the
is-
road
is They're avoiding the worst of the ridges in the road.
Well, but it's way before that,
Yeah, I know.
even before Duraflex, they're driving on
Yeah.
that side of the road.
That's in front of my house.
And, well, there's no yellow lines, so I can drive wherever I want.
I don't think it's the lack of the WO lines, because there is some, it's faded.
No,
I
they're
understand it's
faded.
Faded.
They are fake.
But somebody knows when they're driving on the left-hand side of it. They're doing it intentionally at high speed to avoid the road conditions there. What they should be doing, and they're not,
Slow down.
is slow down. You don't like the road, they may even have such a low car that they'll hit. And they need to slow down and stay off of the part where their tires will be low enough that they'll scrape. That's how bad the road is. It is not that they don't think there's a double yellow line and therefore they can drive
Well,
anywhere.
they know they're driving on the wrong.
They
side.
know that, and they know they're speeding. And they know that they're avoiding something that they don't want to drive on.
Trucks.
I get it. Okay, so-
Yeah.
My second thought on that, and I know we're getting a little sidetracked, but because we want to get Jason to give you the details on what's going to be built, okay? But my second thought is, if you see speeding, if you see violations of stop signs, if you see violations of school buses, anything like that, we have an online system where we want to collect that information. It goes straight to the traffic unit at the police department. They will put an officer out.
Put it right on Tiffany's.
And they will, but they need to hear from you. Okay. It's called Mine, there's an app, it's called Mine East Hartford. If you go on the main page of the town's website, it says service request and just put in traffic issue, okay? And there's a designated sergeant at the police department who looks very carefully at those and puts a traffic officer on it and will write a bunch of tickets for things. It helps to have that in writing, knowing when it happens, where it happens. So there are options there. It happens in the morning, it happens at night, it happens only on weekends. They will put an officer there based on what you tell them because you're on the ground and you see it. So get that information into them and then there'll be enforcement because this road only has a 35-mile-an-hour speed limit. And if the road is 30, and if the road is not in good condition, you should be slowing down, not speeding up, and you certainly shouldn't be on the wrong side of W.
Well, now they're not doing 30, they're doing 45, 50.
Which it's part of the problem is in straight sections. But,
Well, you just said, why don't you write it down so it
oh,
can
you
be
want
done
to
right?
see the service request thing? I'll write something down for you. Okay.
Your name.
Name and address for the,
Janet,
Janet.
Daniel Thomas,
How do you spell that?
P-A-N,
P-A-N.
A-Y-O,
A-Y.
no, P-A-N-A-Y-O-T, like in town, O-P, like in Paul, L-U-S.
L-U-S.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yes, right in front of my, it's the hole is this deep.
That's all right.
It's how it is.
106 Goodwin.
Thank you.
And I live 66, 64. It's really bad.
Yeah, I'm gonna get first.
Water be sitting right there. Water
Yeah.
sits right there.
Yeah.
Like this deep in front of my driveway.
Same location?
No, she
66, 64, go Goodwin Street. I'm in a family house.
and Deborah Fraser.
Deborah Frazier. It is
That
deep.
was 66.
64, 66, Goodwin Street.
No, you're still taking questions.
And it makes my house when the
yeah, we're kind of like, we're having a general chat about Goodwin. We still don't want Jason to sort of go through exactly what the scope of work is. Try to get back to that.
Question was, they are putting extra, where the truck is going there. That was my big question, because I knew they contained it normal.
So we have done borings, we've done geotechnical investigation out there. And the pavement that's out there is not even closely designed for the trucks that are on that road.
I complained about this about three years ago. They came through and surveyed everything, and that was it.
Yeah.
Money, my man. Yeah, tax money.
Am I saying?
When the trucks go by, it makes my house shakes.
Yeah.
My foundation.
The road is dipping in towards my house. And 24. Good.
Yeah. She lives around close. 52.
My biggest thing was
When it starts to rain, underneath the curb into the lawn sidewalk.
Okay.
All right, yeah. Why don't we have Jason go through the scope now and I'll just kind of show you guys.
This will be quicker than the other.
And then we can still go back to the discussion and questions and specific properties. This will give you a good overview of what is proposed.
So,
Doug already gave a summary of this. So as Doug mentioned, Goodwin Street is going to be reconstructed from Ellington Route 5 all the way up to School Street. The approximate length is a little over 3,300 feet. I pulled this plan up just for that. We're going to start on the west end of the project and we're going to move our way east. So this is the intersection with Ellington Road. As Doug mentioned, that the triangular island that's there is going to be reconstructed in place. It's still going to restrict the turning movements from Ellington Road onto Goodwin Street. The roadway section here, at least some of the components of it are very similar to the prior project on Brewer as far as the roadway width. The roadway width here is 30 feet. We're gonna have 11-foot lanes in each direction with 4-foot shoulders. We are also going to be having new 5-foot sidewalks with some grass strips. What you'll notice on the south side, starting at Ellington, is that there is an existing sidewalk that comes up just to where the triangular island is, and then there's nothing beyond that point. So what we're going to be doing is continuing that sidewalk about 100 feet to the east before introducing a crosswalk. We do not want to introduce a crosswalk at the intersection of Ellington Road just due to the safety concerns that we have there, visibility, queuing of cars. We want to make sure that people are going to cross at a location that's outside of all the activities that are happening at that location. So once we're able to get the pedestrians on the other side of the road, the sidewalk pretty much continues all along Goodwin Street. And I'll tell you where it terminates.
Are you putting new sidewalks on Goodwin Street too?
What is it?
New sidewalks going in on Goodwin also?
On the north side.
North side new. All
Just in the beginning of Ellington, we only have about 100
Yeah.
feet, 150, and then we're gonna cross the street, and then it's all gonna be on the north side for the 5-foot sidewalk.
You get the sidewalk, but you gotta put the new one, the other side.
Only the limits that are shown here. They're asking about the limits of the sidewalk?
You're going to put new sidewalks on the side of the road,
Yeah, other side.
on the other side, the side that has sidewalks on it.
So what we're doing is that there is a small section on the north side. We are removing the sidewalk. So right now on the north side, that sidewalk continues all the way to Ellington.
Yes,
We don't want people getting access to Ellington, so we're having them cross the street
yes.
at the crosswalk location that's shown here. And then they're gonna be on the south side of.
Left hand.
Yeah. good.
Yeah, if you're heading,
Yeah.
yeah,
I should go up there and show you something.
if you're heading to,
The bus stop comes,
The bus stop.
bus stop drop people off. When cars come and people crossing, when the bus drop them off, okay? They get off, they walking. Cars will come around here so fast and people be crossing.
Yeah.
Well, that's why we don't want to have a crosswalk at Ellington. That's why we moved it. That's why you see the crosswalk further
But
down.
they turn and they come so
Right.
fast around here and they about to go in the side.
I don't think it's gonna stop.
They turning
Right there.
so fast and they go.
Visibility of-
I seen it.
They're not right there.
Yeah, they're not right
Yeah, it's really bad.
But there's-
I need to go to work at 6:30.
but we are also removing this big green section here in front of 14 Goodwin. We're removing that sidewalk section. So there's nothing to walk on there. I mean, maybe grass, but it doesn't kind of make just,
They walk on the grass.
yeah, I mean, you're gonna come around this corner and what, you want to go up to here to walk on this grass instead of doing that? It's almost the same length.
Yeah.
It's almost the same length, and it's certainly a lot safer.
Yep,
to do.
there was a car that couple of years ago, or coming up Ellington Road, there was a house right here, and it went right through the porch.
Yeah, I can think of about 3 places where houses have been hit by cars, maybe 4 just in this town.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah. It happens a lot. Unfortunately, people are not driving safe.
And they basically get down to the roof fence or even further down.
Yeah. Okay.
Across the railroad tracks, using their right leg and straight.
The last thing I want to point out on this page is that we are introducing another crosswalk at Tiffany Road. Doug even mentioned that there is a desire for people to get from Tiffany Road over to the other sidewalk. So we are pretty.
Yes,
some ramps.
The bus stop, the kids want to get to my house over
The
there. back.
crosswalks are gonna have blinking light or.
Fees.
So you're liking the RRFBs, the flashy light things?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Hey, I like them too. But I also don't feel like people respect them as much as I would want them to.
That's because they're not used to seeing them in this town.
Well, they're gonna see them a lot,
You know what I'm
in a
saying?
lot more
Saying
places.
Put them in a lot of.
Yeah,
That's like the, states where the lights are on a pole and we're used to the lights up here. I drive by, man.
The only thing we have to do, because this project is LoTSIP funded, so it's state funded, you actually have to have a warrant to be able to put those in. So there's certain criteria that have to be in place in order to put those in. If this was entirely town funded, we might be able to do.
probably could add them.
Yeah, but we'll take a look at it to see if it's at least feasible.
Is right there, the second one. Let's not put it in.
Yeah, in front of 52 Goodwin, in front of my house. Yeah, right.
Last name, same for.
Okay. I figured, but I didn't want to assume.
My real first name is, this is longer than my last name.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate that feedback. I like the RFPs. I think they're good to have. I got a few more that we put in. They're supposed to finish one in front of Mickey's for me, and they don't seem to ever be able to get that one done.
Well, my big question for the night was making sure that they put at least, 12 inches or better, because I've watched since Duraflex, that road just went to hell.
Right, because of all the truck traffic.
Yes.
Are a significant impact to the roads by far.
After church, I mean, you look way up.
We've already done that calculation.
It didn't have a crack. Well, my basement has a crack in it. We didn't get a crack.
I mean, and it should be minimum, at least 12 or 15, something of it, in there.
There's a fancy spreadsheet, I'll call it, that the engineers use, that I just play with it once in a while. I'm an engineer, but I just play with it. So, and it takes a truck, heavily loaded truck, and it shows the equivalent axle loads of cars, and it's like off the chart.
Oh, I know, sir.
One truck is like 10 to 20 times what a car.
Yeah, and it's just dramatically extra. So the thickness and material of the pavement, there are multiple different layers that have different amounts of structure to them. It's not just one size of aggregate. They're thicker in the lower areas. It is designed specifically to take the impact that is coming at it based on what we know from traffic counts.
Yeah, because they come in with those tankers, because the Duraflex makes the only floor material.
Yeah.
They come to the tankers and they're full. They're going out, the tankers in and out, yeah.
Yeah.
And the tankers are heavy compared to regular tractor trailers.
It occurs to that, that's a pretty old plant that's there, right? I mean, it's been there for.
No, they went over our gap.
They did everything.
Yeah, I mean, the actual facility has been there for.
Oh, yeah, it was, A&P warehouse at one time. It started out A&P warehouse.
So it's interesting, like, I like to look at, the impact of, like, if somebody's coming in and doing something on private property, does that have an impact on something else?
Yeah.
Obviously, it's had an impact on this road. It's had a huge impact.
Well,
So,
when they did the road, Duraflex wasn't there. A&P had shut down a long time before that.
yeah.
So they had put it at 8 inches, I think, and that's exactly what it is, all the way up.
Mhm.
But you didn't have the tractor trailers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But we have new traffic counts and data to back that up. We know how many trucks are going through that area, how heavy they are, and everything. So
And you put
the pavement is designed for that condition.
Yeah.
So for the work,
Quality pavement now, don't you, for
quality, well, thicker pavement,
thicker pavement, and it's not a different
not
better
necessarily,
material or not?
not typically.
Not really. I mean, it's a little more high performance than it used to be, but not significantly. I think the biggest change here is that there's a sensitivity to not just the wearing surface, which you want to have it be smooth,
Yes.
but the deeper section, the deeper layers of the pavement to make them chunkier,
Yeah.
put more aggregate in them, and they have more structure to them.
Yeah.
And that's what's gonna help make that road survive.
To get the underneath there.
Even with the trucks. And you'll see it when it gets paved multiple lifts, multiple layers going in, and the road will be coming up and up and up. It's like, geez, didn't they pave it already? They'll probably pave 4 or 5 times. And they'll keep switching aggregate as they go up. It'll get smoother as it gets to the top, so it's not so, the really bony stuff, it'd be like driving down a cobblestone street or something. You don't want that. So.
I
Anyway,
would say you have 20 to 30 trucks coming in there daily.
I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that. So no, I mean, I agree fully.
what else you got, Jason? Yeah, straight
A lot of this is really straightforward. The same section pretty much continues as we go to the east. It's still a 30-foot section, 4-foot shoulders, 11-foot travel lanes. The sidewalk is on the north side, 5-foot sidewalks, 4-foot grass strip. The driveway aprons will be reconstructed as we continue to the east. Not a lot of drainage improvements. As far as drainage, we are putting in new tops. So we're going to be, so we're going to be basically putting.
Yeah, I want to back that up, that the drainage system on this road is very good.
I know, you know what it is?
Very good.
It's 3-foot.
Yeah, and
3-foot pipes they put in.
yeah, and it's, it really has held up well, and I don't think there's any issue with it. So it just, as a matter of course, we'll replace the tops, and if the salt from de-icing efforts has sort of done anything with the block at the top, they'll replace it, but that's all they have to do. Which, what it does, it saves a lot of money on this project and makes it so we can go longer without having to do the drainage, which we would like to do. So.
But the drainage need to be in front of my house, so they don't hold water.
No, I'm not saying I'm not saying, so get the ruts that are there will not be. You won't have ruts. Yeah, we've been talking about pavement structure. The pavement structure will not allow the road to be a W shape anymore.
And will our houses shake when the trucks go by anymore?
I would anticipate probably not, but I can't say 100%. They're gonna roll smooth. They should roll smoothly through.
I mean, if they're bouncing less from
Yeah.
section, I would think this is, the should be.
Permit.
Well,
They
said between her home, right after those last, and mine, it's like the worst part, where it's like what they do is you really feel the trucks in the house. And especially when you have arrows, you have the trucks hitting it. You know, it's even, you know,
So for the next, like we said, this is a 27 build.
If you, why you're getting so much bang in front of the trucks,
If you have.
you know why you get so much bang?
And the service request.
But if I don't get it in there, it's just 2 months and I got it, I figured it out.
The road is.
But
I'm not trying to do it, that's the only reason why I kept this in, you said, but I want to.
I understand. Cold patch, not so good. We do try to get for pavement patches, hot mix that you can get on Wednesdays in the wintertime. And that holds up a little bit better, but the weather's cold, it's a little tough. It's still a patch, but every time you have a pothole, report it. Put it in the system, report it.
Yeah, well, back in my house, I'm just coming back to it now, I stayed my girls the last 6 years, I got a house there, I can rent it out.
All right, what else you got there?
I'm gonna skip this. We already talked about this. Let's talk about this. I mean, we already mentioned this. So we talked about the railroad crossing. We mentioned that the railroad crossing was going to be either upgraded or rebuilt as part of a couple of locations. But as part of this project, we are not directly impacting the railroad crossing. So the rubber mats that are out there are not going to be touched. So we're going to just basically build right up to that rubber mat. We will be upgrading the sidewalk ramps on the north side, each side. Those will both be ADA compliant on the north side. Right now, they're not. So it's going to be 5-foot wide sidewalks with the ADA compliant ramps. We're going to have appropriate markings. We're going to restripe it just as it is today. Again, 11-foot travel lanes, 4-foot shoulders, nothing too special here. And it really doesn't change much from here on out. It's a consistent roadway section, same sidewalk, same grass strip. We do introduce, I think, one drainage structure in the middle of the plan just to handle some of the stormwater a little bit better. But other than that, there's not a lot of other drainage improvements. And we are going to be adding a crosswalk at the, was that a condo association? Is it-
Yes.
Is it Joanne?
Yeah, Joanne Drive.
Joanne Drive?
Yeah.
Yes, we will be putting in a sidewalk ramp with a crosswalk so those folks can cross to the other side of Goodwin Street at that location.
Yeah.
And then we pretty much terminate that just short of School Street over on the right-hand side. So this matches the end of the construction that was recently done a couple of years ago.
15.
Well, you can see when you're out there that there's granite curbing out
Yeah.
that location, then it just basically just turns into dust from that point on. So we're gonna at least match that limit and then pretty much the determination point.
And undo the dust. Yeah, take the dust out.
They put the rotary there on purpose. And tell us to vote, how was those big?
Shay.
Wayne Jones,
Wayne Jones. Okay.
702.
Yeah.
I don't live on Goodwin, but I live, that turnaround right in front of my house. That's how close I am to the corner.
So you're maybe one house south of this, right?
So that's.
Yeah.
What else?
7 Ellington Road. So, I travel down that road all the time and I'm, count me as one of the people that's 100% in favor of the project because I know it's like a war zone. I'm probably one of the guilty ones that's been driving on the left side of
The room might turn.
Anyway, I appreciate everything. My question is, early on, Doug, you had said that the thrust of the project construction is going to be paid for by the state.
Correct.
Except for the Beta Group.
Which is, right, we pay for the design up front.
Do we know what those figures, those cost figures are at this point?
For Beta, I don't recall where your contract was.
Because that's, the onus is on the taxpayers for that, right?
Correct. Yeah, I'd have to look it up.
Or guesstimate.
Yeah, it's in the couple $100,000 range, something like that. So, and it's a couple $100,000 between friends. On a $3.5 million job, it's actually pretty reasonable.
Yeah, it's a drop work.
It's not much. And what the opposite is, we used to get funding from something called STP. And on that funding, the town would be on the hook for 20% of the construction cost. Well, if the construction cost is 3.2 million, 20% of that is about $600,000. So we're paying maybe a couple $100,000, but we used to pay 600,000. Much in favor of that. And also, by the way, this is a much easier style of funding because it's not coming from the federal government. It comes from state, and the rules are just a lot easier, so we can get the money expended a lot easier.
It's also not reimbursed.
Yeah, and it's a grant. Well, I can tell you 100%, our finance director hates reimbursement program where we put cash out and then you try to get it back, or part, 90 cents on the dollar back. She hates that. She wants the money in the bank and then she'll just peel the bills off and hand them to the contractor as we go, right? And so that's what this is, it's a grant. And actually the state, the DOT for municipalities is really going in this direction where at the point where there's a bid, they'll fund the construction and they just write a check, and say, listen, at the end, we're going to audit the whole thing. Any money that's left over, you give us back. You have it, it's in your account, you just write us a check back. So it's a lot better than the other ways we used to do it.
To the rotary.
Yeah, sure.
People don't know how to use rotaries, number one.
That's okay, we'll teach them.
Number two, are you familiar with Hebron Ave in Glastonbury?
I am. I am. I think they're designed wrong.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, those are small
Because
too.
people don't stop to take their turn.
They're too small.
They,
So there's a current
and then the
design.
other thing is, before I forget what I want to say. I drive in Hartford quite a bit, and they have got these big humps, like not the little humps in the middle of the road to slow the cars down.
Yeah.
They've got big ones, and they're nice, and they work. And they're easy to get over, and they slow everybody down. And I was thinking maybe Goodwin Street or some streets around East Hartford could do some of those.
So we design them.
But I think,
What?
design,
You probably design those.
oh, I see. Everything about the thing, that's where you- there's a nice,
Speed tables, they're not speed humps.
okay.
Speed tables. you go
Yeah,
from
speed tables, and maybe
top.
that would help somewhere.
We're going to experiment with.
And I put one near my house, because I have a Corvette that's pretty low.
Got it. Here we go.
The thing is that you can get killed going around the rotary because people don't stop to take the turn, number one. Everybody's got to get out in there, you know, and I don't see where that's gonna help.
Have you been around the roundabout on Park Terrace and Liberty Street in Hartford? You said you drive up.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Actually, there's not much traffic around there.
It's big though, but it's big.
Well, because there's no traffic.
There's actually quite a bit of traffic through
Well,
there.
when I go through
Down at Caplet.
But it's big and it's high up, so it's big, but when I go by there in the morning, there's not really much traffic going around.
We have work right now.
Awesome.
We haven't been there, work yet.
Yeah. So the ones on Hebron Avenue, really wish they hadn't done. Everybody knows about them. They're not properly designed. They're too small. Never should have done it. It's spoiling it. The DOT currently has 30 roundabouts around the state that operate extremely well. They reduce death and serious injury by 95%. It's fantastic. The only thing that happens is little fender benders, bumpers, property damage, because people refuse to play nice.
Yeah.
But nobody's getting killed. And you can have something like 5 corners in Ellington, people know what that is, where Sen's ice cream is, good ice cream, right? And Ellington Pizza, not that I've ever been here before. But that was a 5-leg intersection that was all stops. It was a nightmare to get through. Now you just drive right around it. It's so easy. And you go right around to whichever leg you want to be on, and it processes traffic fantastic. Death and serious injury down over 90%. Love it. That's what's coming. When you see a traffic signal, expect that someday there'll be a roundabout. Just saying, that's what's going to happen. Because traffic signal does nothing but try to speed people. Yeah. Hey, listen, there's some other sort of problem with everybody because we're all broken post-COVID, especially younger people. I don't know. There's mostly older people in the room, but younger people are seriously broken.
2027.
This should be built in 2027. It'll be finished in 26. We'll bid over the winter from 26 to 27. Same thing. Yep. We'll actually have probably 4 projects under construction in 27 that are sort of on the same pace, same schedule. Yeah, what do you?
Very small comments.
Okay.
I have a house at 9119 Goodwin Street. But always the people right here, Tiffany Rose, to close for why not you guys, you did your plans to protect these people who live around here, doing some sidewalk, because this line is okay, this one too, they can skip, but always I am driving that way, they have problems right here. I don't know, somebody said from these houses, I think 3 houses, very close to the Ellington Road. So the cars comes, the people, they have to wait. They have to stop to cross the other side, because the other side they have sidewalk, it's okay.
Yeah.
But here they don't have.
So maybe we need to close
It's
it
very
down.
interesting, you can see.
Do that. Remember that we added the 80, so we can close that gap.
It's very-
not too much, it's only 300 feet.
I think this one is very small.
It is.
The people who lives here, you are protecting people, I think. So, you can keep in your mind that situation.
I mean, sidewalk is not cheap these days, but for the scope of this project, the size of it, that much is not that big a deal to add into this.
Yeah.
I can see making a connection between those. It's kind of obvious right in front of us. Yeah.
Because they did, yeah, it's okay, this line, white line, they can cross the other side too, but always, if driving that way, they have that problem. They have to stop, they see the cars coming or not coming.
Yeah.
Or they have to cross.
Your name, sir?
Jose Vidal.
I'm sorry, last name?
Jose. Vidal. Vidal.
Thank you, sir.
Your address?
119 Goodwin Street.
119 Goodwin.
119 Goodwin.
No, that's a great suggestion. This is the time to get it added.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. So I,
That line, we don't have any problem with other ones, because they have a lot of space to walk, to see the cars, etc. They, it's okay.
so I feel about sidewalks that we have a lot of places where you have too many sidewalks. There just aren't enough people walking. It's a very low volume road. We're forcing people to shovel sidewalks and there's not anybody walking. And what harm would it be to have sidewalk on one side? This road is kind of questionable to me. It's certainly a big enough road that it could have it on both sides, but it's only had it on the one side and they haven't really, until today, I really didn't get a feel that there was a lot of pedestrian going down Goodwin, but I guess to get to the industrial, they are. So we want to take that into account and make sure that we provide something there for, and because when I put a sidewalk in, it is a burden for the homeowner to keep it clear, right? From debris and from snow, if we get snow, so we get snow. But it would help. It would definitely help with people coming from Tiffany across here and make the connection.
That's right.
There's more children now on Tiffany, I noticed, in the neighborhood, coming into the neighborhood, more younger children moving in that area there.
We were talking about how you come over the railroad tracks and it's a very straight section and you get a lot of speeding, and because of the road condition, people are skipping to the other side and that sort of thing. We're gonna make it flat, smooth, straight. And it kind of concerns me that we don't have an element to try to slow people down as they come down here. And even the way the intersection sweeps like this, it's almost like you can just take your wheel and if nobody's really coming, boom, right onto Ellington. And then when you're coming in, you also have that rounded angle and you can slide in at a high speed. I like perpendicular. I like slow down and make a turn. We don't have that here. So maybe there's a need for some kind of other element right here of traffic calming. Bring the speeds down a little bit at the end, especially right before the signal.
And then make the street, like you say, perpendicular.
Yeah, the problem is that to really make it perpendicular, I think I'm getting into this house on the corner here at that 14, this one here, right? If I'm gonna be truly perpendicular, I'm more like this. Right.
Well, he's out there kind of that way anyways.
Yeah. Yeah. It just, I mean.
Take the triangle out and
then
go straight.
Everybody got that line going through it.
Yeah, it just, no, it's not, that's still an angle. The angle is this. This is an angle.
Yeah.
This is 90. That's 90. This is an angle. I can't, without a major intersection change.
It kind of helps though having a little wide there, because when you get to that light, if everyone's going straight, then you're in back. This way, if you're taking a right, you can get kind of on the right side of them and you might make the light.
Yeah.
And you can't take right at the light, so that's a little bit more traffic out.
People take left, right at the light, because I do.
I just do, going out the boat.
Get her name.
It's not a sign there that says no right turn, is it?
You guys tell me.
But yes, there is a sign that says no.
Where was it at? Up there, because I never seen it.
Sign that it's the light.
You take it back.
Maybe they need that now.
No, no, no. Oh, take the right there, yeah, you're not supposed to. That's my age. It clearly says no right there. I'm thinking about Ellington Road, because I'm like, I take the right without, the light is red.
Oh, yes, no, that's true, because that way if the cars are there, you can also go there too.
I know, I don't break them. So,
Excuse
no,
me,
but-
I'm sorry to, when you guys are gonna
Well,
have,
I mean, I think I really appreciate having some input about exactly how this area works, because I think we made some assumptions about it. And maybe they aren't perfectly valid with what's happening.
If you come at a certain time on the date,
Well, what's the certain time?
Time when school gets out,
like,
little time.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, just go and just pop on 30.
So the buses are dropping
Well,
off.
I give you permission to park in my yard, so I got 2 drivers. So you can park.
Wait a minute, you're not supposed to have 2 drivers.
I
I
have.
haven't told about that.
Yeah, so there's one on each side.
Oh, that's
Yeah, so you
two
can park.
family, you have 2 drivers.
Yes.
All right.
But during school time, when they let the students out, there's a lot of foot traffic, and if students live across the street, there's no other crosswalks except at Ellington or Wade.
Yeah.
So you want to kind of take
I
that.
know this younger children, they got people moving in, house has been sold over there.
Right.
Yeah.
So they got people with, children. I don't have any, I mean, I do, but they have their children.
Very good. So other questions, comments, concerns, endorsements of support for the projects? We'd be happy to hear those too. So I think generally everybody is wanting to maybe a few tweaks to them.
Yeah, but I mean, who would want the street fixed?
Hey, I still gotta ask the question according to the state, just saying. So that's the deal, so.
Even if you drive, and I have driven like this young gentleman over here on the opposite side, because even if you go slow, there's so many craters in the street that it will damage your car.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just that, boom, boom.
Yeah.
It's not that you're going fast.
You coming out my driveway.
The driveway is like, it just drops down, and then, so even the cops, it's very
thank
interesting.
you, Kyle.
They're sometimes coming up big on the opposite side too. Everyone knows, that's like a known thing, drive on the opposite side because,
Fire truck.
yes. Because it's, so you shouldn't be going fast on the opposite side just in case you have to move over because a car can be, coming, but it's just so bad that it needs to be taken care of. And if you guys have the funds and it's not coming out of the taxpayer dollars yet, as a homeowner here, listen, use that state card you got, because you guys use our platinum card you have, right?
So you have a question?
Back to Brewer for a second.
Sure.
We're gonna head on now.
Yeah. You, Bob.
Again, you said anything. Interesting.
So there's that, where the guide rail is on the north.
It's past Jefferson, it's halfway past that corner road where it's all overgrown now. They're practically supposed to take care of that. It's all overgrown. And it's on
Good night.
They have metal fence, besides metal fence. It has.
So that's the driveway that goes in. Go one sheet west. Yeah. This is the driveway that goes in. And there's a big culvert right here. So
Talk about that, it's right over Brewer Street.
You can see it when you're on.
You can see it when you're on Brewer.
Across the road from Jefferson.
It's all overgrown now, you can even notice.
okay, across the road from Jefferson is.
Well, and then you go down.
Take it right, and it's where they don't have any houses there, it's just all overgrown. And there's a fence there beyond that because that's practically land, but practically it's supposed to take care of that brush that's there so you can see the water. You can't see the water now.
Yeah.
Because it's so overgrown, they haven't taken care of that in years. There's a flowing brook there.
It does. It does, it takes pretty good watershed coming down to that location.
Good night, good night, everyone.
For me to go up to that brook or no?
We're not gonna be touching the brook at all. Not at all. And definitely not on Whitney property. Yeah, this is our right of way line right there. That's as far as we go.
Yeah.
Anything beyond that is all crap. Now, they don't necessarily need to clear the brush out on the brook. They can leave it. I mean, if it's causing backup and flows into areas that they don't want it to, then maybe they would go cut it. They don't have to take it out. Yeah.
But it is right near the road. It's like not deep. It's almost, you can.
Yeah, the guardrail is there and then the water's there.
Yeah, no, that's what I was talking about with the guardrail. So where, here,
It's probably right there.
see, so the guide rail starts here and kicks in, and the brook is right here. Yeah, we are absolutely not touching that. We're not touching the guide rail. So we don't want to mess around with that. That right there, if we tried to go and clean that out and do anything to it, is a very big permitting process to try to like straighten it out, clean it out, do anything like that. But there is floodplain all in here. Floodplain all inside of Pratt. So if that was to overflow, it's really going to flow out in that direction. This is higher than the road's higher than the brook there. So that height is going to take the water way out in Pratt instead of on the brook.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Forestry. I don't know if you got involved with forest.
Yeah, I hate Forest Street. I want to take care of it.
I
So.
hate that road. I have to go down.
They just had it redone. I'm not even sure how many years ago.
So it was, so the backstory on Forest, and I'm just gonna, I think we're kind of wrapped on the other things. So I have the, I'm gonna stop here
Can't remember.
and I'm gonna stop.
Am I able to say something?
I'm just
I've had
stopping
my
recording.